Welcome to the Beau Show. Today's show is a special one because this whole weekend and then on Monday, we celebrate Memorial Day. This Memorial Day may be a little better than last year's now that many of the restrictions we faced early on in the pandemic are now being lifted, thankfully. But while Memorial Day weekend has a very American holiday feel to it, with barbecues and sunshine, backyards, parks, parades, and beaches, I think we ought to really take some time to understand this day and why we celebrate it. Memorial Day is celebrated on the last Monday in May to honor those who died serving in the military for this great nation. It was originally known as Decoration Day as it emerged shortly after the Civil War and became a federal holiday in 1971. By the late 1860s, many cities and towns had begun springtime tributes to the fallen since the Civil War had claimed so many lives. It's a bit unclear where exactly this tradition originated, but true to the American sense of respect, it was happening independently in various cities and towns across the country. But Waterloo, New York was given credit for the origination by the federal government in 1966. Waterloo celebrated its first Memorial Day on May 5th, 1866, and it was chosen as the official birthplace due to the fact that the city's tradition included businesses closing and residents decorating soldiers' graves with flowers and flags. On May 5th, 1868, General John Logan, leader of a group of Northern Civil War veterans, called for a nationwide Day of Remembrance. He called it Decoration Day, as it didn't honor any particular battle. On the first Decoration Day, President James Garfield made a speech at Arlington National Cemetery, where 5,000 participants decorated 20,000 Civil War soldiers' graves. Though the holiday originally honored only Civil War soldiers, eventually the day became known as Memorial Day, especially during World War I, as America entered another conflict with many casualties. In 1969, Congress passed the Uniform Monday Holiday Act so that Memorial Day would always fall on the last Monday of May so that there would be a 3-day weekend. Memorial Day differs from Veterans Day in that Memorial Day honors the memory of those lost, whereas Veterans Day honors the living veterans of conflicts. In this respect, Memorial Day is truly about remembering the fallen and the sacrifice they made. Many traditions across the country involve parades or visiting cemeteries. I've had the great honor of performing for a variety of Memorial Day commemorations, especially the Memorial Day Parade in Washington, D.C., in which I sang in support of Purple Hearts Reunited, a nonprofit started by Major Zachariah Fike, a U.S. Army veteran, whose life's mission became returning lost or stolen Purple Hearts to their rightful recipients. He has returned medals of valor dating all the way back to World War I and the beaches of Normandy. Sometimes these medals are found at estate sales or in boxes in someone's shed, but they're also traded and sold on the market, which is wrong because that medal was given for a reason, for someone's sacrifice. And if you happen to know of any Purple Heart medals or any other military medals of valor, be sure to reach out to the team at Purple Hearts Reunited, and they will help locate the recipient or the next of kin. They really do some great work, and it is so rewarding for all involved to get those medals back to their rightful recipients. These return ceremonies are really special to be a part of. And you know, they represent a piece of history and someone's story. Not many years ago, I wrote a song called Heart of Purple and Gold in order to tell the story and the meaning of the Purple Heart, since I'll wager that most folks don't know much about it. I also think about the treatment our soldiers received when they returned home from Vietnam. And while I know that the reasons for going into that war can be debated, the soldiers who fought did so honorably and didn't deserve to be disrespected. They fight so that you and I can have the freedom we have today. When you consider our major wars, whether it was fighting the King of England, Nazi Germany and Japan, or communism, we are always fighting for American ideals and a very unique sense of liberty. We saw some of those freedoms get ripped from us last year in the pandemic, and that was a major shock to our system. Whereas in China, Venezuela, or North Korea, that would be child's play. Look at what the Chinese Communist Party was able to do to us just by letting that virus out of that lab. It wreaked havoc on us. So modern warfare today is not necessarily with ships and ammo and jets. It's invisible, biological, and even psychological. Communist ideas, sadly, have taken root in this country, so the enemy can be found within. American soldiers didn't give their lives so that we could be told what to say or not to say or even how to think. But look around you. Look at whatever platform you're watching my show on right now. Some decision maker out there is regulating the method of delivery of information. And they can label things as false or misleading or harmful and just delete your presence entirely. We are in the instant communication era, but what is communicated can be regulated and curtailed. This goes against our founding principles, the idea that we can speak and think freely so that we have an informed electorate. So Memorial Day to me is not just about honoring the fallen. It's about honoring and preserving that which they fought for. This innate Americanism that separates us from the rest of the world. Not the culture of Cardi B, but the spirit of tradition, truth, decency, respect, honoring sacrifice and freedom. I still love going to small towns throughout the country and seeing American flags waving on a house's front porch. Macy's in Chicago has hung the largest American flag at its store there, a 5,000 square foot flag that dates back to a tradition from Marshall Field and Company in 1916. I think that's such a great connection to history and a preservation of a tradition. Sadly, we have a lot of revisionist history going on right now. Things like critical race theory that teaches our kids that America is an evil place and that we should divide and hate each other. That is not what American soldiers fought for at all. Critical race theory has no place in today's schools. It is antithetical to the American dream and core. We are being taught to forget our history, or at least rewrite it how we want it. Yes, America has had some rough patches like many other places have, but the difference is how we persevered and the progress we made from strife, whether that was the Civil War, civil rights, voting rights, women's rights, and many other hurdles we have climbed. It's how we came through it, not that we went through it. That's the point. The reason we have been so strong is in spite of our shortcomings. And the sad thing is that, well, maybe other than the History Channel, you probably won't see a ton of Memorial Day programming this weekend. I doubt you'll learn much of the history which I provided earlier. Chances are you'll likely hear about how many people can congregate and whether it's safe or whether that's not safe and how high the gas is going to be this weekend. And you might see an occasional commercial bumper with a flag waving that says Happy Memorial Day. But that's about it. Because there still won't be many parades anyway this year. But we have lost sight of what those parades are for. Yes, of course, it's about getting together and sharing fellowship and good food. But we get to do that because someone else fought for that freedom. In China, any gathering of a certain amount is considered suspicious, which is why the Falun Gong began to be targeted in China. Communists don't like people getting together because they feel that they might rebel or maybe even form a collective thought that isn't regulated by the government. People from China and Cuba and Venezuela, they know this. That's why they don't want to see this country become like the one they left. Tradition is quite important, and we have maintained the tradition of Decoration Day, dating back to the Civil War, and now Memorial Day, to honor the fallen. Yet we sometimes allow our complacency to overtake our remembrance. Soldiers, they didn't have TikTok in war times, and even if they did, I doubt they'd be doing lip sync videos. Here's how President James Garfield marked the occasion of Memorial Day at Arlington Cemetery in 1868. I am oppressed with a sense of the impropriety of uttering words on this occasion. If silence is ever golden, it must be here beside the graves of 15,000 men whose lives were more significant than speech and whose death was a poem, the music of which can never be sung. With words we make promises, plight faith, praise virtue. Promises may not be kept, plighted faith may be broken, and vaunted virtue be only the cunning mask of vice. We do not know one promise these men made, one pledge they gave, one word they spoke. But we do know they summed up and perfected by one supreme act the highest virtues of men and citizens. For love of country they accepted death, and thus resolved all doubts, and made immortal their patriotism and their virtue. For the noblest man that lives, there still remains a conflict. He must still withstand the assaults of time and fortune, must still be assailed with temptations, before which lofty natures have fallen. But with these, the conflict ended. The victory was won, when death stamped on them the great seal of heroic character, and closed a record which years can never blot. Garfield's words ring true and should be revered. I want to close with a song I wrote to honor the dead. Last year, I had the unique opportunity to perform my composition, Heart of Purple and Gold, with the U.S. Army Band in a collaborative virtual concert, as the band could not perform live in front of audiences, as many musicians know. This collaboration was really special because the great musicians of the band liked the song and reached out to me, and so we traded verses. The specific group of the Army Band with whom I collaborated is called Country Roads. The Purple Heart, of course, is awarded to those who died in battle or were wounded. So I dedicate it to those who shed blood in Gettysburg, Shiloh, Normandy, Omaha Beach, Okinawa, Saigon, Heartbreak Ridge, Kabul, Fallujah, and many other parts of the world fighting for our unique brand of American freedom. May God rest your souls.
Heart of Purple and Gold was written in 2016 by actor, singer, and songwriter Beau Davidson, honoring the 75th anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor. It tells the story of multiple generations of a family and the sacrifices made in the service of our nation. We are honored to have Mr. Beau Davidson, joined by members of Country Roads, performing Heart of Purple and Gold.
As a private citizen and as a singer-songwriter, I personally had no idea that the Purple Heart medal was being sold and traded on the marketplace, because those medals belong with their original recipients, and it's a story of sacrifice. In some cases, it's the story of a soldier that maybe a family doesn't even know. So I wrote this song not only to honor the sacrifice of the soldier, but also to raise awareness about this medal and the fact that we need to find these medals and return them to their original recipients and their families. It's not to be traded and sold on the marketplace. So with that, I hope you enjoy my song, Heart of Purple and Gold.
He opened that little box with eager eyes. He couldn't wait to see what was inside. He held that shiny medal from World War II. He flipped it round, said, "Hey Mom, that's my name there too." She said, "Your grandpa fought in places far, far away, and though you never met him, he'd love you just the same." He said, "Mama, what else was Grandpa like?" He fought for his country to keep it proud and free, and if it weren't for his service, there would be no you or me. And every time I tell his story, it just never grows old. He had a heart of purple and gold.
Well, your daddy felt just like your grandpa did. When Vietnam came looking, he never hid. He don't talk much about it, 'cause that's not what men do. But a tattoo of Old Glory and his scars tell the truth. The bullets flew around him like horizontal rain, and because of his courage, his men made it out that day. And angry people said, "Why'd you have to fight?" He said he fought for his country to keep it proud and free, and if it weren't for his service, there would be no you or me. Every time I tell his story, it just never grows old. of purple and gold.
Well, Mama, I read this letter from a camp. I wish I could tell you where, but I can't. I've met so many guys from Maine to Tennessee who love our great nation just as much as you and me. But Mom, we got attacked on patrol the other day, and I lost a lot of brothers, and I'm in a lot of pain. So Mama, soon I'm coming home. And I fight for my country to keep it proud and free. And if it weren't for Dad and Grandpa, there would be no you or me. And every time I tell my story, it'll never grow old. I've earned my heart of purple and gold. Every time I tell this story, it'll never grow old. Telling each new story
of fighting for old glory
and the meaning of this purple and gold.